used to live in a quiet neighborhood just outside the city, the kind of place where people left their doors unlocked, where porch lights flickered at night but no one worried. It wasn't perfect, but it felt safe until it didn't. It started with little things, a sense of being watched when I took out the trash at night, a shiver up my spine when I turned the key in my front door, but I brushed it off. Everyone gets paranoid sometimes, right? Then, the notes appeared. The first one was tucked under my windshield wiper. "You have a nice smile." I laughed it off, assuming it was some harmless flirtation, maybe even a joke. But the second note wasn't so easy to dismiss. "I like the way your hair looks when you come home from work." That one was on my front porch, placed carefully on the welcome mat. My stomach tightened. Someone had been here, close, watching. I told myself it was just a prank, maybe some dumb teenager. I didn't want to be one of those people, the kind who called the cops over nothing. But I double-checked my locks that night. A week passed without incident, and I let my guard down. I convinced myself I was overreacting. Then I got home late one night and found my back gate open. I never left it open. My pulse spiked. I hesitated at the door, keys clenched in my fist. I peered into the backyard, but the darkness swallowed everything beyond the weak glow of my kitchen light. The breeze stirred the bushes, making shadows dance along the fence. I forced myself inside, locking the door behind me. I barely slept that night, lying awake and listening for every creak, every whisper of the wind. Each sound seemed amplified in the silence. The next day I installed cameras, one for the front door, one for the backyard, just in case. For a while, nothing happened. No notes, no open gates, no unease. The cameras showed nothing unusual. I almost believed it was over, until one morning, when I checked the footage. At 3:14 a.m., the backyard camera caught movement. A figure, barely visible in the grainy night vision, standing at the edge of my property. Just standing, watching. My stomach dropped. My hand hovered over the screen, replaying the footage. The figure never moved closer, never tried the door, just stood there for over an hour before finally vanishing into the night. I told myself it could have been anyone, a lost drunk, a neighbor's guest, but I knew better. Then the scratching started. It happened just after midnight, faint, deliberate, like fingernails dragging across wood. At first, I thought I imagined it, but then it came again, from the back door. I froze, breath shallow. My phone was on the nightstand, but I didn't dare move. The scratching continued, slow, measured. Each sound seemed to stretch the seconds into eternity. I had a choice: sit there and hope it stopped, or face it. I grabbed my phone, forcing myself to breathe as I checked the backyard camera. My heart nearly stopped. A man stood at the door, hood up, head tilted, one hand pressed flat against the glass. The faint light from the kitchen illuminated his silhouette, but his face was hidden in shadow. Then, as if sensing my gaze through the screen, he lifted his other hand and waved. I called the cops. By the time they arrived, he was gone. No footprints, no sign of forced entry, nothing but a deep, lingering sense of violation. They took my statement, but didn't seem hopeful. No crime had been committed, after all. Just a stranger in the night. But I knew it wasn't over. I didn't sleep. I barely ate. Every shadow felt like a threat. Every creak of the house set my nerves on edge. The notes didn't return, but the feeling never left. I wasn't safe. I could feel him, always just out of sight. And then, one evening, I came home to find my front door slightly ajar. I knew, deep in my bones, that I hadn't left it open. I should have run, should have called the cops again. But fear does strange things to the mind. Instead, I stepped inside. The house was silent, too silent. I moved cautiously, heart hammering. The living room was normal, the kitchen untouched. But then I saw it. A single dirty footprint on the hallway carpet, leading toward my bedroom. I backed away. My breath came in shallow gasps. The air felt heavy, oppressive, as though the walls were closing in. I fumbled for my phone, fingers shaking, dialing 911 as I stumbled outside. This time, They found something. In my closet, wedged behind my coats, they found a small hole in the drywall, a peephole, and behind it, in the empty space between the walls, they found a blanket, a half-eaten granola bar, a notebook filled with page after page of my name, my routines, my life. Every entry was dated, each detail meticulous. He'd been watching me for weeks, maybe months. He'd been living inside my house. I moved out that week. The police never found him. They said he must have run the moment I called. They assured me he was gone. But sometimes late at night I still feel it. Same cold sensation, that invisible weight of eyes, watching,